Okay, so very brief video, probably. Again, you never know, on how the paper, the KDD paper came along. So paper again is about analyzing video data using some state-of-the-art techniques and then applying it on some show, television show. Okay, so originally I had been working on the space, like the Indian, YouTube and other WhatsApp and other sources. And television is a huge source in general, like that is highly understudied. And particularly, I mean, Indian news television landscape these days is shit, like it's just so junk, so much junk. And I had another paper at ICWSM last year that looks at like how these shows collude with certain political parties on Twitter and how there's information loops. And in that context, so I was looking at like, okay, can we actually look at the video data of these, not just the descriptions and things like that? And so I've been working with PK and his students for a long while now, like 2, 3 years now. And so we were really, really discussing a lot of problems and trying out a bunch of very, very, very diverse sort of things. So we had published a paper in 2021, 22 maybe, on it's a company called Digital Green. So they had given us some data. We had done some analysis, went to some recent conference called ICTD. And then, since then, these are really brilliant students. There's like 3 students who are working as a team, and they always used to amaze me, like Anmol, Shrey, and Pratyush. Anmol was the lead. And like, but yeah, I always used to feel that, I'm not giving them the right type of attention or the right type of feedback or the type of time that, really values their contributions to the project. And but anyway, we had iterated through a lot of ideas and eventually we settled on this, like, okay, to get this type of data from this show and to do some sort of like, I mean, irrespective of the methodology, we wanted to quantify like various things in the show, things like, incivility, overlap speech, shouting, a bunch of things. And obviously, a lot of those, in retrospect, you see, oh, and it looks like, okay, these are planned, and you see 1, 2, 3, these are the results and things like that. But it was not the way it obviously happened. Like, we had originally started with just existing transcripts. They were shared, and then Whisper got released, and then we started applying Whisper, and we really were blown away by how well it works for English. I mean, now it works well for Hindi, but back in the day, it didn't work for Hindi. Then we found out like there's this diarization tool. I just heard of the term diarization back then. Anyway, so all of this was led by the students completely. They are like really amazing students and they've settled in like really good places now and they really, really have amazing futures. Anyway, so yeah, we found that. And but it was again like a resource problem. So a lot of these things that we see now in the paper just happen, okay, so we didn't settle on an idea till very late. And by that time, like these students had graduated and left the university. So, and they started working on full-time jobs or left for masters, so they did not have the time. So there was a lot of the core of the, that started coming together and we wanted to submit to a conference right after like they left. I think they left in June, and then we had a deadline in October. So it was not a really easy thing. So October 2023, dub is where we finally submitted. It was a very, very hard push, and there was so many pieces there that had to come together. So we recruited someone else, Shivain, like who do parts of it. Like there was some we recruited some other PhD student who wanted to bring in structure, but then he graduated and he left, and um, we did not have the GPU resources to run things on all videos. So we had done some, but then some were like running until the last minute. So we had only partial results. It was as usual, like with all these projects was a mess. But anyway, it came together for www and we submitted it. And yeah, I mean, I thought it was a good paper for www because it had a methodological contribution, it has a I had a real world question, and the paper was completely framed very differently. So it was framed as, okay, this is an analysis of this show, and this is how bad things are, right? Like, but then, okay, the we got rejected, and uh, for I think there's some implicit bias on like that sort of framing, and people don't understand the value of things. Again, this is my bread and butter, and I face that every day. So I think yeah, that is the case. And I mean, with it being about a specific Indian show and things like that. So um, and one of the complaints by the person who rejected it was that this is not about the web. Like, I mean, it is television data on YouTube, so we're getting data from YouTube. YouTube is the web. But anyway, that was the one of the complaints that stuck in my head. But so it got rejected, and we started then looking for where to submit. So there was either KDD, which was I think like 2 days after the WW deadline, or ICWSM, which we had to wait like a month or so. And then we said, okay, KDD, let's just put it in like the same high. And so I mean, again, Anmol and Pratyush, like really did a lot of work. So we fixed a lot of things. We tried to frame it differently as a methods paper with some application. And yeah, luckily got through. So that's the way it is. And so after it got published, like we really removed all mentions of what show it is, and so we had a huge discussion section talking about implications of like how bad the democratic discourse in India is, how shit the TV news medium is, and all that stuff. So we removed all of that, and just to be ultra careful, all these people are based in India. So yeah, so that's how the paper came along, and yeah, I just went and published and presented at KDD. Unfortunately, I mean, I would have really loved the students to go, but like I said, they moved on. So many of them are now in the US, and they don't have like these sorts of visa issues, or like some of the people are in India and they don't have the funding. They have a funding issue. Anyway, so I went and presented it, and it was okay. It was good. I really hope the paper gets the kind of uh, uh, credit and citations that it deserves, like for both the methodological contributions, but also as an application and in this space. Yeah. So thanks a lot.